Welcome back to the channel. On today's video we got multiple tap changes to do. Some are easy, some are hard. We have 3 basin taps to change, a bath mixer which has got really tight access, and a toilet that needs some part stripping. On the end job I'm going to give you a quick rundown on how I got into plumbing. So let's get some tools out and get into the job. The first job is a new set of basin taps. So we're going to be fitting some of these which are identical to the ones already installed. Every single tap has got flexes, but this one is actually leaking from the top. So it's leaking from the top and causing the pipe work down here to go all green. So I'm going to be leaving these isolators in place, probably connecting from the top to replace these set of flexes. Now, normally in my videos you see me rip out the flexes and hard pipe everything, but because this job's got so many little jobs to do and all the taps are piped out the same, I'm just going to do it the cost-effective way, replace the taps for like, and then connect up whatever I need to do. If it's leaking, I'll change it. If not, it's staying in place. So let's crack on, let's get plumbing. So I'm going to test it as we go, might as well. And plumbing is as easy as that. So that side done, we're just going to speed run the other one so we can get on to the next job. And there we go, that's that basin all done now. 2 new feeds, new flexibles, new connections, and I kept the old isolators because they're working and not even leaking. So yeah, bit of a positive there. But as you know, I like to remove all the flexibles, but on a pedestal basin they're hidden so you can't see them, so I'm perfectly happy with that. Obviously if you've got a toilet or a freestanding basin, then yes, I would obviously remove that flexible and hard pipe it, because I do think it's a better job. But something like this, especially when we're doing 4 of them, it is what it is. So let's crack on with the next ones. So these taps are next. This one, I think the back nut looks like it's completely snapped. This one's constantly dripping. So I'm going to leave it at this camera angle. We're going to try and do this, no fancy editing. You can see how quickly they are to change. The flexibles are perfectly fine, isolated underneath. So yeah, let's crack on. And this is a normal angle that us plumbers see. Everything's all blind and all done on touch. So just getting a little hand tool to undo them. Right, there's that one out. go. Right, so I always use top hat washers because they spread the load underneath, and it probably does stop them, the back nut snapping like what's happened on this one. There we go. So that's the basin taps all done. You can see how easy that was. But now we've got to change these bath taps, and access underneath here could be a lot better. They've tiled really close to the bath, and they've got some flexes that are wrapped all the way around here, which, I mean, if you're going to be able to change the whole tap, it's probably the half best case scenario because all this is in your way. Obviously, I am not going to touch them because I know my luck. So let's go down, find where the hot water and the cold water is isolated, do it there, and then open the taps up. And if there's no water coming out, then yeah, we're good to go. So we're back where we shut the water off before. We've got a stop tap right in here. So because this is a pressurized system, that should kill the hot and the cold. And I don't know why, but they haven't put an isolator here on the balance feed. They got one on the hot out, but why not put one on the incoming with the balance? It's a bit silly, but yeah, I shut him off. Oh, at least he turns. That's a plus. Oh. Right, we'll open up the taps that we fitted. There we go. That's good enough for me. Let's go upstairs and start taking these taps apart. Right, so I'm going to go ahead and take these stems out, or at least attempt to. So we've got flexible, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my little hand spanners, undo the flexes, and then try and get the back nuts off to then hopefully replace. I can see that they're brass, so they're not going to probably fit my box spanners. Hopefully these might fit. We're just going to have to see how it goes. Now you're not going to see a lot, I'm not going to see a lot, so yeah, let's just see what happens. Right, that's the two flexes out. Let's just check the box spanner. No, so he's constantly spinning. He's actually too big. Let's get it down a little bit. So let's try the hand tools and see what we do. No, that's a good sound. So here's the difference. Here's the brass. That's obviously the 1/2 inch version. It doesn't fit. With the plastic ones, they're a lot bigger and they do actually fit the box spanner. So should be able to use him to tighten these up, get them at good tightness, and yeah, actually fit the whole bath taps with all the hardware. It'll make the tap look 10 times better being new and also last a bit longer. And hopefully when we go to replace it later on down the years, we should be able to undo him using the box spanner now that we actually have the plastic size. So with them on hand tight, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the bath taps on so they're in the final position for when I go underneath. So I'm happy with that position. Now I can just go underneath and hopefully I've got enough space to get the box spanners on. So we're going to slide these up underneath the stems, tighten up the nut, and then we're going to try and get the flexibles back onto the threads and do them up with these hand tools. So these hand spanners are from a company called Techers Ltd. What I'll do is I'll actually link it down in the description below so you can get them, and as you can see, it's pretty much saved my ass. One. And there's two. Like I said, these box spanners are a lifesaver as you're able to grab hold and actually give a nice bit of tension on them and do them up. So it's just the flexies now. Right, that's hand tight. There we go. Taps all tight, onto the bath. They should be a lot more firmer now. And the flexes are on. Look at that. Much, much better. Totally worth the time. Yeah, should be good for many more years. Right, so with the bath all connected, what I'm going to do is I'm going to test that before I do anything else. As the last thing you want to do is carry on doing your work and find out that you forgot to do something and that's constantly leaking or dripping while you're doing other things. So we'll just turn the water back on. And we'll shoot up and turn the taps on. Right, let's just have a little look. So get my light in here. That all looks okay. Which way we're going to get on? Shower that side, bath that side. Perfect. I'm happy with that. So the bath tap's fully tested and we're happy. We'll turn the water back off and then we've got to change these taps. That one works, all the bits are flopping, and this one's been isolated because I think this one's just constantly dripping. Now this toilet, they say that the flush isn't working, but I think it's just because the ball valve's stuck. So as you can see here, the pin is just constantly pushed in. I think once we got the water off, we're able to break this joint and change the insides of here. And that should be a nice quick fix for this. Got no isolator underneath here, so must be something to do with that. So inside my van, I always like to keep some spares for toilets and washers and blah 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 blah. So inside my drawers, I've got one of these. That should solve that toilet issue up. So just turn the water back off again, so we can work on that upstairs toilet. So with the water off, we should be safe enough now to disconnect this and change that washer. Okay, so seeing as that didn't really go to plan, I don't really want to risk putting in something that's damaged. So yeah, I'm going to have to wet vac all that water out. And we're going to be probably trying to fit a new ball valve. So you've seen me fit these before, these are the Vivas. But the only thing I'm worried about is that this one sort of moves away from where the siphon is. So if I haven't got enough space here, then I'm going to have to change the siphon because, yeah, it looks a bit tight. And the Viva ones, they're a lot more, the stem's a little bit more bulkier, so I don't know if it's going to fit, but worst case scenario, we take this off, we replace the siphon anyway, and yeah, we should be fine then. So, all right, let's crack on. Okay, so fitted the ball valve and it actually fits nicely. It's got plenty of wiggle room in there, but I just tried using a siphon and I don't know if that's because it hasn't been used for a while and it's a little bit dry, but I mean, let's go and change it. Okay, so that's the system all set up. I've adjusted this, brought this a little bit higher to get past the fixing point. So we've got a nice amount of space everywhere actually. I think this siphon's actually a bit smaller, but you can adjust it on the side. So you literally just pull that up and you can come up and down on that one. And then same with here, these are quite handy as you can keep rotating all the way around depending on where you want. You just quarter turn, lift it up, quarter turn, snap it back down. So yeah, full adjustment on everything. Sounds good to me. Let's go turn the water on and give it a good test before we finish off with the basin taps. Let's just test the toilet. He's currently filling. Perfect. Got a nice little bit of height in him. I'm going to just give him a flush. And we'll just have a little quick look underneath. That looks good. And no drips coming from there. Perfect. Right, last job, basin. So while I got you just watching me do these sink taps, I thought I would explain a little bit on how I actually got into plumbing. So basically my mum, she said, what do you want to do when you leave school? And I said, well, I don't really know, to be honest. So she said, oh, why don't you become a plumber? And I thought, that ain't bad. Now, this is coming from my mum, who had my brother as an electrician. So he was training to actually be an electrician, and my father works for my uncle's kitchen company. So deep down, I really think that my mum just really wanted everything in the house done for free. So that was the reason why I thought, right, okay, plumbing seems to be pretty good, the wages aren't bad. So what I done was I just looked up what I needed to hit for like an apprenticeship, and that was just like set grades. So I just aimed for that at school, didn't really excel any more than what I needed to, because I thought, right, this is what I'm going to try and pursue. And then I left school at 16, I'm 34 now, so I've been doing it about 17, 18 years now. Yeah, left school, literally put loads of CVs out and managed to actually get one that stuck. So a company offered me an apprenticeship, which was really good. I stuck that for 2 years. When I qualified, I actually asked for a pay rise, and my boss basically said, yeah, you can have an extra 50p an hour. So I was like, right, that ain't gonna help, is it? So I was running a moped back and forth from work. I was paying my mum and dad rent, obviously, and an extra 50p on top of, I think I was on £2.30 an hour, which is, I don't know, a little bit mad, but yeah, looking back, I think it's about £100 a week I was getting paid. So I left there. That was for a renewable company, so that's the whole reason why I never actually got around to doing my gas. So I just worked for a renewable company, fitting solar panels, air source heat pumps, ground source heat pumps. They probably would have been flying now, but they actually went bust. But you think about it, if people were fitting renewables like 16 years ago, all the technology back then isn't what was actually out now, so I think they probably were fitted wrong, to be honest, which is the reason why they probably had a load of callbacks and the customers won loads of cases and probably eventually put them out of business. So yeah, they would be thriving. So anyway, I finished doing that and I went to do some commercial work, so I was doing schools, police stations, hospitals, a bit like that. That was okay, stuck that for a bit, found out that I actually just wanted to be in the domestic market. So I looked again for local firms. I never went to any of these big firms. I always want to stay local, because if you work for the big firms, you end up literally just being a number to them. So I like to be able to feel a little bit more appreciated, and that's basically what you get in a family-run business. Now, where did that go? Always in the middle of the basin now. So yeah, I worked for another family-run business, stayed there for about 2-3 years, I think it was about 3 years, and then they actually had me working every Saturday, which, because I was young at the time, I just wanted to go out with my mates, and I just thought Saturdays weren't really for me, so I left there, and then I was at another company for another 3-4 years, and then I stayed at a company after that for about 9 years. So that was where I was. Still doing domestic side. All aspects of plumbing, whether we were doing big houses, day-to-day jobbing like this. And that sort of made me want to think, right, I actually want to do the domestic side a lot better. I love doing the maintenance jobs. And then I started posting all my stuff online, because I was always quite sort of proud of my work back then. And then, yeah, started up the social media, started posting every day, same time, same week. Tried to be as consistent as possible. That's probably like my biggest advice if you're going to plan to try and do social media, so stay consistent on it. So I just posted every day for about a year or two, and managed to actually get lucky with a couple of good banging videos, which a lot of you have probably seen and probably like. And then, yeah, that actually made me be able to go full time. So got to a point where I was able to actually afford a van. So I bought a van, and then I handed in my notice, which was really scary because obviously I got family, I got wife, kids, and a mortgage. So I had to sort of take the sort of leap, but lucky for me, things were going pretty well. And yeah, I was able to sort of do that. Sometimes in life you need to be a little bit lucky as well as do enough to actually make the luck in your favour as well. Right, that's that one all done. Okay, so that's this job all sorted on the inside. I'll come back out and we might make a video of doing some work on the outside because that could be a bit interesting as well. So we've done 3 sets of taps, I think, basin taps and bath taps. Bath taps were a bit of a nightmare, but we managed to get it done with the right tools. Toilet was a bit of an and we thought we'd get away with just a washer. That ended up turning into a siphon, a ball valve and a close couple kit all at the same time, but that is a good thing for the customer as now we have full rebuild of the toilet, so that should last a fairly long time, as well as being able to replace everything on the inside being the Viva products. So yeah, if you liked today's video, please give it a like, drop a comment down below, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you on the next one.